Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Reasonable Contractor Podcast. My name is Ryan Templin, the Reasonable Tech Dad, and I am here with a new friend for us today, and we're going to learn about him together, Mr. Erik Ellefson. Am I saying that right, the last name?
You are, yeah.
You got that K on the Erik. You got that
Right.
Scandinavian, the Viking spelling of Erik.
100%.
And I did a little research, looked on the website, and everybody always talks about quality and value and that kind of stuff. And I think what was unique to yours is you actually said if it was something about making sure that our employees have their situation together and good families and something like that. So I thought that was unique. But I guess better you tell the story than me. So I'll pass it over to you. How'd you get started? Tell us your story.
Yeah. I went to tech school back in like '08, '09. I think I got out in '09, and Dakota Technical College over here in Rosemount. And I guess to back that up a little bit, my dad had a one-man business doing commercial refrigerating and heating and cooling, and so I was aware of business. It never scared me, right? So it's just something I grew up with. He didn't have any sort of a big company or employees or anything, but I knew that I wanted to go into something that I could use my hands somewhat with. I like to see a finished product, and something, sales, people, related. I like talking to people, right?
Yeah.
So I was looking at sales. I was looking at a chiropractor. I was looking at nursing. I just did a lot of job shadowing, and one of the suggestions from my dad was we should go job shadow electrician. And so he knew a company that he had worked around, and so I did job shadow them twice. And it's kind of one of those things where you're young, you're like, I could probably do this, I could probably do that. You feel like you're
How old
probably
were you?
good at most things. 8, 7, I don't know, when I job shadowed, probably 17, something like that, 16, 17. And I had got on the waiting list for the electrical program, and I was doing PSEO. So I was able to start the electrical program ahead of time before I graduated high school. And then I think I just had to go.
Sick.
I think it was just one semester after I graduated high school to finish my degree. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do electrical. It seems like a really good trade. My dad was always like, all right, so if you look at any project, a house, whatever, like the electricians are there for the longest period of time. Within reason.
Interesting.
But they have a lot of work,
take.
right? I mean, so do drywallers and some other trades too. But if you think of a remodel project, say like a residential remodel project, electrical is going to be one of your higher subcontractor costs, and they're also probably going to have the most man hours worth of labor there. So versus somebody that comes in and guy comes in, lays carpet in one day and he's out, right? Electrician's in there for a week.
Absolutely.
It's just like per project there's more work. So anyway, went to school for that.
No, that's cool. That's a good story. My dad kind of said the same thing, about the electrician thing, and talked about the trades in that kind of way, and talked about electrician being a good one for different reasons. But how about what's going good in business right now? Obviously you're running well. How many crews do you have? How many people? What's going well for Topline right now?
Yeah.
And why?
Well, so we have five electricians. We're running 3 crews. We had 3 journeymen, 2 apprentices, and one apprentice just got his license. So now we're going to be rolling into 4 crews here soon. And I have a full-time office gal, or CSR, and we are just about finishing up the hiring process for one more to have an additional person in the office.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so we've kind of revamped a lot of things in the last year, just as far as how we present our side to the customer. Just kind of just realizing, most of the time, like, so I was the main estimator, so you'd go to a project, you'd come look at your kitchen, whatever you need done, or your garage, whatever you're getting some work done on. I'd come up with an option. Maybe you wanted a variable. Oh, what if I had under cabinet lights too? Okay, I'll give you a separate price for that. And then I'd just email you something over later that day or the next day, right?
Sure.
And then you just
Yes.
wait and see if you hear something. Kind of
Were
realizing.
you a bottleneck then? Is that?
Yeah, that's probably a different subject. I guess where I'm going
Sorry,
is
continue.
like, no, that's okay. Realizing that's really only giving a customer two decisions. The decision is you or somebody else. And
Okay.
if you can give them more than one option, they get to choose this option or that option. So that's why you see a lot of companies go to a good, better, best model. Option 1, option 2, option 3 is it helps give the customer more flexibility. Realizing, like, I come in, I'm an electrician, I think there is most likely one best way that I would do this. It's probably down the middle. It's not over the top. It's not going to be the cheapest Band-Aid way of doing it. It's going to be right down the middle. This is like the best. This is what I would do. I would just do this, and that's good. It's good, right?
You were doing it for your own place. This was
Right.
This is how I would handle it for me.
Yep.
Yes.
But that locks them into my vision, what I think is good, and one budget option. So we've revamped things, and we're actually coming in and giving people 6 options in most situations.
Oh.
And so that
Can I ask why you decided that route?
Yeah.
How did you come up with that model?
Well,
Not to cut you off in mid
yeah, no. Some
Spitting
people,
brilliance here.
some people's models, and yeah, this isn't totally my idea. I've got some help with coaching, so it's definitely not my own doing. But the way I've heard it explained is like a lot of companies might do a good, better, best, so 3 options, and they would say your average. There's kind of 3 buying archetypes out there. So you have your top tier high end buyers, you have your mid-level buyers, and you have your economy buyers. And so normally a good, better, best still only gives 1 option to each of those buying tiers. So if you do 6 options and you price them correctly, you're kind of giving 2 options for each buying tier.
To each.
And you can't walk in there and be like, this person's a high-paying option person, right? So like if I'm buying a truck, I'm probably a high-tier buyer just because of what I want or whatever, right? But if I'm, going to buy toilet paper, maybe I'm like way down here. I don't care what Amazon's selling, right? Like it all depends what you're buying. So you might be a high-tier
Makes
person
sense.
when it comes to buying your headphones, and I might be a low-quality Apple person when
Economy.
it comes to iPhones, right?
The perfect example, dude.
You know?
Well said.
So, I can't
that
come
was
into
perfect.
your home and say you buy in this category or that category.
Why don't you buy these iPods and put those things down?
Right. They're good enough. So that's where the 6 comes from, is really trying to get, you don't know where someone is and giving them 6 different emotional fixes, physical fixes, and budgetarily wise 6 options to pick from, dollar amount.
That's so cool. So then continue on the revamp thing. So that was something you changed about a year ago, you said.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing we've done, is just spending. I mean, that obviously takes time, right? I'm not just putting together one option. I'm putting
Yes.
together 6 different options, looking at more things.
Yes.
But the goal is to spend more time with, hypothetically, less customers. Spend more time with our customers. So we're doing an in-person
Interesting.
visit, putting these options together. If it's something they're trying to make a decision on right away, we'll present to them right away. If they're like, nah, we need, we got to make a decision on this later anyway, or
Still tire kicking.
yeah, then we'll schedule a follow-up. Okay, when would be a good time? Okay, Friday, we'll come out on Friday. Is your spouse available so you can both be here, so we'll come out and do a presentation and show them, here's your 6
That's
options.
awesome,
We'll walk them through it. If they want something custom, great, whatever, but at least we're not leaving it for them to understand whatever the heck we typed up on a piece of paper, and now they have to understand it and explain it to their wife. you know.
And decipher their other options. I feel like if
Right.
you were to give people 6 options, if you were to come in and give me 6 options, I'd be like, hey, I don't know if there's nothing else. I got all the options, right? I would feel that way. Like I'm out of these 6 options. If I go waste time calling another contractor, getting somebody out here, they're going to be somewhere in this range. Would be my thought, just as you introduced that idea.
Right.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
response, but that seems to make sense.
Yeah, we've seemed to have a lot of, you know, even on our Google reviews, have a lot of positive feedback from it. Just, you know,
About that structure.
yeah, they're just like, wow, like we haven't had anybody else come in here and even open the panel for this project, or wow, we just look at all the time
I've
you
never
put
heard of
into
it.
this, you know, like just you're giving us the option. That doesn't mean we win all the time, right? You know, there's still other people that are doing a good job out there that'll come in, or if somebody's really budget conscious or whatever, they might still go with somebody else. So, but the point is that, you know, we're giving them the best options we can. Just a real spread of things and being very clear, open, honest with them, and very thorough. And you know, a lot of times that makes a good connection. You can really connect with that individual and hopefully, you know, go forward and serve them in some way with one of those options.
That's got to be cool to hear on the feedback, especially the way you talk about your values on that page. That's got to line up with you as a person when you know, people are telling you that kind of feedback, that you're making them feel good about the purchase, right? That's good business to somebody like you when you're getting, you know what I mean, things are working out for everybody and they feel good about where they're at and how they're spending. That's amazing. That's cool. Because you do kind of, when you talk to a lot of these guys, you hear about the model of 3, and you see that as a web guy too. Like websites, you can see that pretty much across software when you log into a service, good, better, best, right down the line. It's a very tried and true model across lots of industries. It's a simple way for people to feel like they have considered all the options and they understand the tiers of what they're buying, so then they can make a decision based on those 3 prices.
Yep.
Which is awesome, and you're adding another layer to it, so you have options within. That's super cool, dude. So then that's the things that are going well for you guys. You know, you have a new framework, and then kind of the fundamentals: treating people well, having good values, treating your employees well, and having people that are coming to work in a good attitude and in a good lifestyle, so that they're coming and treating their customers well in turn. That kind of all ties together just from a value structure, I assume.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we talk about values and mission and stuff at our monthly meetings and try to get some examples from the guys. You know, hey, where was an example where you saw that we were being, you know, caring this month, or that we were being thorough, or we were being truthful or something, you know, and they'll give me examples of like, hey, you know, we could have, you know, not even
pulling that out of the guys.
Yeah, we didn't have to do this, but we went and told the customer about it anyway and made sure that was right with them. And, you know, so getting them to acknowledge, you know, these things. I mean, I try to hire people that do these anyway, right? Like, it's not like these are our core values and you have to do them. It's like, hopefully this is you somewhat, right? Like, I mean, they didn't come from the employees themselves necessarily, but hopefully they can embody these. And so, you know, even just pointing out, like, see, you're doing them. Like, you're maybe not even actively thinking, well, I guess I should do this core value right now. Like, you're doing them because that's part of who you are and what you're doing at your work.
And you acknowledge that, and then that builds on itself. They're like, yeah, you're right, I am doing that, you know, especially your apprentices, the young guys, you know, they haven't heard that kind of stuff yet. I know at 40, 41 years old, I think about those things frequently in my business, right? Values and how that shines through and how that snowballs. But as a young guy, I don't give a shit about that. You know what I mean? But if somebody were to be leaning over my shoulder on a weekly or monthly meeting and be like, hey, Ryan, you're carrying yourself with integrity. Like, look here where we're being honest. You know what I mean? I think that's amazing, because I think that everybody needs that. Doesn't matter, young, old, whoever. So good for you guys. I think that can kind of transition us into what my next question typically is challenges. Is when you said hiring and finding, you said we try to hire people for that. How is hiring right now? Because across the contractor world, volume is not the issue. It's not leads, it's execution, in my experience, and from what I'm hearing out there. Everybody's busy. You can find work. It's a matter of, can you do the work? So where are the challenges for Topline right now?
Yeah, that's interesting, because it's like, you know, that's the first question anybody asks, like, you know, how's work? You guys busy? You know, and it's the same thing as if someone said, like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. That's just your natural response. Like, oh, work's good. And then it's kind of like,
I could go on for hours about that topic alone.
Yeah. Actually, we're only booked out a week right now or something. It's like you don't ever like really, scale back and actually talk about it. But no, I mean, I'd say like the last couple winters have kind of been slow, a lot slower than I would want them to be. And it's always hard because like, it's like, okay, well, we just hired somebody that fall. So we're really slower, or do we just have more people to do the work, And then like the next winter, you're like, well, we just hired another person. So do we have an extra person, or are we actually slow on work, So just really realizing that it's, there's so many people that it's not the same, I feel like, as like, our parents' generation maybe, like they still have the business card of the guy that installed their garage door, And it's like who do you need? You need a garage door? You gotta call Alan.
It's all beat up and faded.
Right. And that guy was probably a killer, man. He was probably really good.
Yes.
But Alan's retired, and now
Alan's done.
I call that magnet. He doesn't even pick up. I gotta call someone else, right?
And you get his voicemail a couple weeks in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So then you're down to what? You're Googling garage door company near me, blah, blah, blah. And so that's what all these people, younger people, they're moving houses way more than people used to move. They're moving cities, they're moving states, they're moving jobs, and they're just Googling. They're just looking, or they're posting on Nextdoor or Facebook, what's a good electrician? And so realizing that we really need to have a presence out there, realizing, okay, I don't know how much we dabbled in like local service ads and pay-per-click on Google, that kind of stuff, but at least having like that profile up to date, having the website, as up to date, all that SEO stuff, like really there, because like these are people, they're hot leads. People are coming looking for an electrician. You want them to call you, right?
Yes.
And so that's something we've really, in the last year, really started working on. And then recently, even more so, like kind of our goal would be for like online would be like, people want to hire someone they like and know and trust. So
those are the words.
Using Facebook to just post about life and also post about, like if you look at my Facebook, we post a lot about our values, what we're doing. Hey, here's one of my employees. Let's meet this guy and what he's about, and even posting stuff about the difficulties of business, and just being real. On there.
Some transparency.
Yeah, and then when somebody needs an electrician, they're like, oh yeah, I've seen Erik post like all the time about EV chargers and stuff like that, And I'm not on there lying or anything, right? We're not like faking what we're putting on there. It's just real stuff. We just have to take the time to do it, So, yeah.
And I think that is I don't want to use new age like it's futuristic because it's been around for a little while, but I think it is the current method of building rapport. It really is, because when you talk about the younger avenue, right? Like that's where they live. They're on their phones. You see it. Walk around for a day, sit at the bar for a day, and look around. Everybody's on their phones. They're on social media, right? And you might not be thinking about an electrician right now. I know I'm not thinking about when my toilet breaks, my float valve isn't working, whatever. But if you post something cheeky, funny, your values, you talk about integrity or something along those lines, and somebody gives it a thumbs up or a heart, you've already established a seed there. And with the way the algorithms work, they're probably going to see you again, and if you post on a consistent basis. And then I know you know this, if you've been working on your digital presence for a year, when you use words like SEO, that is how businesses build rapport now. You talk about like, know, and trust. Well, it used to be we knew Alan, and Alan, we would hear about Alan. We would see Alan at the VFW on Sundays. We would see Alan at church on Sunday. And we all knew Alan, and everybody talked about Alan, and we all knew Alan's son and Alan's family. And now it is a social media feed. That's how your brain's programmed to get to know people, or at least theirs are. And I think that's obviously, I assume it's shown fruits for you. You know what I mean? You've seen, I assume it's worked out, and you want, because obviously you understand the value of it. So I think that is kind of the future for a lot of these guys, and the way that you're going to interact with the next generation in particular. Because it certainly isn't going to be a handshake and an old buddy kind of thing. So
right, yeah.
I guess God, we're just hitting natural transitions, dude. You're just nailing this. So, like, the next generation, that's what we lay it down for. I mean, that's something that I like to touch on because of my kids. I know you have children too. What do we tell the next generation, man? Give them the advice. Lay it on them. Why should they be getting into the trades, and why are the trades a great avenue to pursue for the young kids out there?
Yeah, man, I wish I knew the percentages for electricians. I forget what it is. If it's like for every 5 electricians retiring, there's 3 entering the workforce or something like that.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that number yet.
That doesn't factor in I even forget what they say. If it's in the next 5 to 10 years, the need for electrical work will increase like 10 to 20%. So it's not only are we not,
and there's already a big need.
Yes, it's like not only are we not being replaced, the demand's even growing on top of it. So,
dude, yeah, as succinctly said as I think you could. It is, and you hear it from every single person when I ask that question. Like, go, kids, get into the trades, jump in. I guess I'll ask you because you seem a little more tied in. Are like Minnesota in particular, have they been able to expand the training programs at all, or is it like are those guys waiting on they're not waiting on a list right now? I assume. For you say that 3 that are coming in, there's 5 leaving. Those 3 that are coming in, is our education program locally supporting what's coming in now?
I would say so.
Are they able to serve what's coming in?
I couldn't tell you if they have any sort of waiting list, but most of the tech schools, there's a lot of tech schools around that have the program, and a lot of people are going through it. And then there's also, there's obviously the unions got their program and stuff too. I know to kind of balance that out for people that are non-union and maybe didn't go to school, it used to be the Minnesota Electrical Association, now it's just called Electrical Association. They have a 4-year apprentice program. You can go to like just an online school 1 night a week, and
interesting.
Yeah, just for your all 4 years of apprenticeship. So
they do an online program that you can. Do they get you? Do they pair you up with jobs that way, or are you able to get? So they get you the education portion. Like you and I, we went to tech school. I had to go for 2.5 years, and that was just the education portion. And I think you get like it's like a year of hours or towards your journeyman or something like that. If you do a 2.5 years, you get a year.
Yeah, if you do a 2-year degree, 2-year electrical degree, it takes 1 year off of your apprenticeship. So this that I'm talking about, this night thing, it has nothing. It doesn't count towards your hours or anything. You'd basically do it while you're in your apprenticeship. So you'd sign up.
Oh, okay.
And so year 1 apprenticeship.
And you'd learn your electrical theory and your code through that.
Yep, your parallel circuits, all that stuff, and I think that's great because there's so many times you're doing the work as an apprentice, you never break open the code book and necessarily see why you're doing something, or to be able to prove, here it is in the code book, this is why I do it this way.
Or on the other side, you go to the 2-year program and you get to go to they do like lab once or twice a week where, the way you're talking, you'd be working, right? I feel like that would be a better application course, but just as a personal preference.
Yeah, so if somebody's...
Being the hands-on trade anyway.
Yeah, if they're like swapping careers, mid-20s, something like that, it's like unless you can't, find a job and you're waiting around, you want to go to school, go ahead. But otherwise, I'd say just go get a job, and start, doing online school at the same time. If you're just getting out of high school and your parents want you to get a degree, and, I don't think that's a bad route to go to the trade school, definitely a good option.
I agree.
Some people are more oriented with school, and that's they're more of a book learner. Other people, it's a real struggle. So I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker either way.
I agree. And I think just to finish up on that note in particular, for anybody listening, I think more people are hands-on than people think they are because of the way that we're built and the way that they're raised. They think phone and digital and computer. I think I think it leads a lot of people, because I bartended for a decade, and you just hear a lot of stories, right? And you hear a lot of people take a lot of routes for reasons that weren't theirs. And I think that lands them in a place where they get a little lost or confused or, disenchanted. And I think more people are hands-on than they think they are. Everybody's like, oh, digital this and computer that, and I like this, but go try it. Go ahead. Yeah. Why don't you try the hands-on thing? What's the problem with taking hauling some lumber for 6 months or wiring up some boxes for 6 months, putting some plates on? Go figure it out. At least try it and say you've tried to say you don't like it before you just assume it's not it for you. It would be my offering. But
yeah,
Erik, this was fantastic, dude. I really appreciate your time and I really appreciate you coming on. And I think we'll talk again soon.
Sounds great, man. Appreciate you having me. It's been a joy.
All right, man. Take it easy.